right now that it is real, that it is painful, it is brutal. And I'm standing here before you, willing to take the hate, willing to take all the negative messages and tell you that I beg you to wake up.
The entire world watched a tragedy. But what if it wasn't a tragedy at all? What if it was a betrayal so cold, so meticulously staged? It makes Hollywood thrillers look like children's games? This is the explosive claim now shattering the conservative power structure. It all hinged on one man, Mickey McCoy, Charlie Kirk's closest confidant. And the only person who dared to flip the script? His own wife. She walked away from her marriage and plunged a digital dagger into the heart of the organization. Leaked messages, private screenshots, audio clips that make your blood run cold if these receipts are legitimate. They prove that the chaos was not accidental. It was choreography. The digital whisper began late one night, spreading like a virus through encrypted channels. An account, quickly tied to Mickey McCoy's wife, dropped the bombshell. No caption, no apology, just one terrifying, cryptic message. They all knew the screenshots weren't blurry gossip. They were clean, undeniable images of alleged private group chats. Mentions of coordination, talk of timing, security arrangements being handled with chilling precision. Then came the 4 words that became the internet's obsession. The phrase that tied the entire operation to the top. Allegedly from Mickey himself, Erica Kirk already knows. The oxygen left the room. Knew what? Knew it was coming. Knew it was a setup? Knew the role she was supposed to play in the devastating aftermath? The implications were staggering. If Erica Kirk knew, this wasn't grief. This was a performance. The internet's forensic detectives immediately raced to the existing footage. The slow-motion video that had always felt off, the moment everyone saw but couldn't explain. Charlie Kirk is speaking. The crowd is rapt. And right behind him stands Mickey McCoy. Suddenly, the video isn't just a record. It's a ticking time bomb counting down to disaster. Mickey performs a 2-second gesture. A gesture that now looks utterly, terrifyingly rehearsed. Right before the shot rings out. Before anyone screams, before the true chaos begins, he lifts his phone, presses it to his ear, turns his back, and calmly, methodically, walks away. He doesn't flinch. There is no instinct to protect. There is no fraternal rush toward his collapsing friend. Instead, there is a movement so controlled, so devoid of human reaction. It screams, "I knew this was coming." This is the moment that breaks the official narrative into a million pieces. The public had struggled to understand his composure before. Now, aligned with the alleged leaks, keep calm if it happens, the coincidence evaporated. It became a pattern. A deliberate act of avoidance. The visual evidence is brutal. Mickey is seen stepping fully out of the camera frame seconds before the terrible moment. That timing is impossibly tight. The microscopic analysis went deeper. Freeze the clip. There is no ringtone, no vibration. It is as if the call was already connected. A prearranged signal. The internet asks the chilling question, was Mickey reporting what had just occurred? Or was he signaling that the act was complete? This is where the official cover story begins to unravel like cheap fabric. Erica Kirk publicly claimed Mickey called her within seconds of the event. A wife receiving a desperate, frantic call from the scene. It sounds noble. It sounds tragic. But Andrew Kolovit, a key TPUSA figure, gave a different version. He alleged that Mickey was not on the phone. He was simply shell-shocked, hands up to cover his ears from the blaring noise. The phone was just still in his hand. We have to direct official accounts. Both insistently clear. Both utterly impossible to reconcile. Erica says the phone was to her ear. Kolovit says it was covering his ears. Both statements cannot be true. When a massive organization tells two different small lies, the public must assume they are hiding a truly spectacular, gargantuan truth. What else did they invent? This is the danger zone of political optics. A simple phone call becomes a legal minefield. The world is screaming for the single piece of evidence that could end the debate. The call log. No public confirmation of these alleged messages or the existence of a conspiracy has been made as of now. The contradictions intensified when Mickey's own father, Pastor Rob McCoy, stepped into the fray to defend his son. Pastor McCoy delivered an emotional, heartbreaking defense. He claimed his son was a hero, that he was covered in blood, that he'd held Charlie Kirk in his arms until the last breath. It was beautiful. It was moving. It was, allegedly, an absolute fabrication. The video footage proves the opposite. Mickey never approaches the body. He doesn't kneel. He doesn't touch him. He calmly walks away, phone to his ear, and disappears behind the tent. The lie was not a subtle shading of the truth. It was a complete rewriting of the physical events. Why did the father of the chief of staff feel the need to invent a blood-soaked scenario that contradicted every camera angle? The answer, critics suggest, is that the narrative needed a hero, and Mickey McCoy needed to look like one immediately, before the public could question the terrifying implications of his 2-second gesture. The public began to see a coordinated effort, a multi-layered script. Script Layer 1, the Chief of Staff is shell-shocked and heroic call of it, Father McCoy. Script Layer 2, the widow is immediately informed, Erica Kirk. Script Layer 3, the truth must be buried at all costs, the vanishing wife. Closing parenthesis. This is why the wife's leak hits so hard. It didn't come from a political rival or a disgruntled employee. It came from the ultimate insider, the one person who saw the public man remove his mask in private. Her alleged actions didn't sound like a quest for clout. They sounded like the devastating roar of guilt mixed with paralyzing fear. Imagine the internal turmoil. To sit on that secret. To watch the organization you served spin a tale of heroism and tragedy. To watch your husband being rebuilt as a hero, knowing the alleged truth behind his composure. The wife's private message on Instagram, moments before her account vanished, became a ghost note in the investigation. Truth always finds its way out within 24 hours. Her social media was scrubbed, deleted, locked down. A total digital eradication. To the public, this didn't look like damage control against a rumor. It looked like silencing an inconvenient truth. If the wife was simply a liar spreading gossip, why didn't the powerful TPUSA machine file an immediate defamation lawsuit? Why didn't Mickey McCoy rush to his own defense with screenshots proving his loyalty? Instead, we got total choreographed quiet from the source. The wife was gone. This silence, the community concluded, was louder than any statement. Engagement hook. If you were the legal team for TPUSA, facing the wife's leak and the contradictory video evidence, what would be your immediate priority, defending Mickey or silencing the wife? Smart move or reckless gamble? Now, the entire focus swung to the glamorous figure at the center of the political stage. Erica Kirk. Days after the incident, while the public was still reeling, she took the stage. Cameras flashed. The crowd was hushed. She delivered a speech meant to be a heartfelt tribute. But her performance felt like a strategic pivot. She couldn't stop saying one name. The amazing Mickey McCoy, she said it once. Then again. Same tone, louder, with a smile that body language experts quickly flagged as unsettling. A smile that didn't match the gravity of the occasion. Why single out him? The man the entire internet was questioning. The man whose wife had allegedly already leaked the receipts. Critics suggest Erica's speech was not grief. It was an act of damage control in real time. A public command. She was not just thanking him. She was reframing him. She was cementing his new narrative as the amazing hero before the world could call him the cold betrayer. Clips of her speech spread like wildfire. Captions read, "This sounds like a script." Body language analysis pointed out the smiling eyes, the immediate downward dart of her gaze after saying his name as if reading a line, as if checking a mental prompt. The public, already primed by the leaks, saw not a widow mourning, but a political operative protecting a crucial asset, a man who allegedly played his part in the new House of Cards script. Erica's action shifted the optics from a tragedy to a political vacuum. She wasn't just grieving a husband. She was, critics suggest, positioning herself to fill the power gap he left behind. The shift was immediate, calculated, and breathtakingly fast. Disclaimer, critics say this analysis is entirely based on optics and timing, not verified fact. The contradictions continued to stack up. The official story became a tower of impossibility. We had Rob McCoy swearing his son held Charlie's life in his hands. The video shows him walking away. We had Erica saying he called her within seconds for help. The alleged leaks suggest he was already connected to someone. Before it happens, we had TPUSA's PR team rushing out glossy tributes to the loyal brother, but the wife's disappearance screamed of a lawyer-mandated silence. It was an impossible timeline. It was not a misunderstanding. It was, allegedly, a series of deliberate lies told to obscure a singular, devastating truth. Every attempt by the TPUSA machine to clarify just made the waters murkier. The official responses felt like a script that had been rewritten 3 times overnight, rushed, inconsistent, and desperate. The organization, which prided itself on message control, was suddenly losing control of the only message that mattered. This is what happens. Insiders claim when loyalty outweighs morality, the organization went into overdrive. Crisis mode, highly produced, emotional tributes to Mickey McCoy flooded conservative media. He was everywhere, speaking at Liberty University, praising Charlie's unshakable vision. The performance was too smooth, too clean, too immediate. For many, it felt less like heartfelt mourning and more like a massive, Expensive media rehearsal designed to drown out the one piece of evidence that mattered, the video. And the leaks, the attempts to rebuild Mickey's image were frantic. They painted him as the noble brother, the calm responder, the man of faith under pressure. But the internet kept asking, if he's so amazing, why did his wife flee the digital landscape? The contrast between the organization's loud, glossy PR campaign and the wife's absolute, forced silence was deafening. Did Mickey's wife decide to leak the messages because she was terrified? Or because she was consumed by guilt? Sources close to the family whispered that NDA letters were being enforced. Staff were warned to stay off social media. Internal communications channels went quiet. Every move screamed of organizational panic. This didn't look like damage control against a rumor. It looked like systemic containment of the truth. The louder TPUSA tried to shout nothing to hide. The clearer the truth became. Something spectacular was being hidden. The public had to assume that the reason they tried so hard to bury the story was that someone the wife had finally hit pay dirt. The power of the wife's alleged leak was in its source. It was intimate. It was firsthand. She was the one person who knew the private side of the man the internet kept replaying. On a 2-second loop, the man who walked away while his friend was collapsing. Her alleged messages sounded not like gossip, but like a desperate confession. The kind of raw, unfiltered guilt that shatters a person's ability to remain silent. They already knew. I wish I'd said something sooner. These words allegedly cracked the entire illusion. If she's right, if TPUSA insiders and perhaps Kirk were allegedly in on it, then the organization was not mourning a loss. It was managing a colossal public relations disaster that threatened to expose a monstrous political maneuver. Every polished statement, every meticulously crafted tribute, every thank you from Erica suddenly seemed less like love and more like a line of defense. Right after the leaks, the executives flooded the internet with content. They rebuilt Mickey's reputation while simultaneously vanishing his wife. The process was ruthless. Mickey went dark. No public comment, no defense, just the careful, clean lines about faith and purpose. The ultimate act of media compliance. The wife's friends' pages were locked. Rumors of legal threats circulated. Complete, choreographed quiet. This is the old playbook. Deny, distract, disappear the evidence. And the public refused to let it go. It didn't act like a false rumor because the organization didn't act like it was innocent. They didn't sue. They didn't defend. They just flooded the zone with noise while simultaneously enforcing absolute silence. On the key witness, this entire saga is, in the eyes of many critics, a masterclass in how power and image can twist truth until it is unrecognizable. It reveals how quickly grief can turn into political branding, and how the people who smile on stage can harbor the darkest of secrets. The silence at the end of the script is the most telling detail of all. After weeks of speculation, the inner circle of TPUSA went completely radio silent. No follow-ups, no interviews, not even a statement from Kirk addressing the direct, explosive accusations levied against her alleged knowledge. Instead, the public got smiling Instagram posts, new projects, sound bites about faith and light. It was all too clean, too perfect. The puzzle pieces still refused to fit the official narrative. We have the video showing Mickey walking away. We have the wife's alleged receipts proving they already knew. We have the contradicting, impossible timelines from Erica and the pastor, and we have TPUSA, the political media empire, doing everything except answering the one question the public keeps screaming. What actually happened that day? The real haunting element is the human one. The crushing idea that the person who stood beside you, who you entrusted your life to, might have been complicit in a colossal deception. And the people now smiling on camera, thanking each other, might not be grieving at all. They might be managing an operation. Their smiles are the final, terrifying image this story leaves us with. Because behind the onstage polish, there is a silence so loud that it is shouting. Every time someone repeats the amazing Mickey McCoy, it sounds less like gratitude and more like a fearful reminder, a line in a script they must repeat until the audience stops asking questions. And the wife, the one person who cracked the illusion, whether she was angry, scared, or consumed by guilt, she broke the script. And once the script breaks, no amount of PR glue can piece the illusion back together. The real truth doesn't vanish. It lingers in the gaps between statements, in the parts of the video they cropped out, in the words that sound too perfect to be spontaneous. The ultimate takeaway is chilling. In a world built on image, silence isn't peace. It's the most powerful political strategy of all. So the next time someone tells you a story that feels too clean, too rehearsed, and too perfectly timed, remember this one. Remember the leaks, the contradictions, the forced smiles, because somewhere behind all the noise, Someone still knows exactly what happened, and they are waiting for the moment they can no longer take the silence, and that is when the final and most devastating chapter will be written. Final debate CTA. This story forces a choice. Do you trust the polished, well-funded political organization built on image control, or do you stand with the single, terrified insider who risked everything to expose the alleged truth? Choose your side in the comments. The debate for the real truth is just beginning.